Yes, hello guys. How are you? Hope you are doing great. Sorry, I got interrupted as I was starting the stream. I had to cancel it, but we are back. And yeah, like I was saying, Happy New Year, and hopefully this one is better than the last one or the last 2 years. And so hopefully this COVID thing goes away this year completely. Anyway, so today we're going to be doing our low poly a city and use some of the assets, some of the cars here we created to add some traffic to that city. So we're just going to test out this asset pack and just use it with to kind of create traffic in a city. Yeah, so this pack is also already available on my Patreon page. If you want to get it, the link is in the chat. The link is in the description. And before we get into the actual tutorial, I also want to do a quick promotion for the for some of these add-ons that I know most of you might want. So the first one is simply assets. This is an asset pack containing a lot of clothes for your characters. If you want to dress up your character, you have this asset pack that comes with a lot of assets that you can see easily dress up your character very easily. Another asset pack I want to promote is the sci-fi HUD add-on. This lets you create HUDs easily. This is by Razy Clash, a very awesome guy. You can see again all the links are going to be in the chat. You can see the sci-fi elements that I already pre-made for you, animated. You can easily use them. The last one, the second last is the botanic nature asset pack. This is an asset pack containing trees. Again, links in the description. I've talked about this quite a few times. Yeah, so you can just go to the link in the description to check it out yourself. Another one is the scatter add-on, which I think they have just released a new update. I wish these features came inbuilt with Blender, but unfortunately not. But yeah, the scatter add-on is just an add-on that lets you scatter elements in your 3D space. You're not only limited to plants, but you can scatter plants as well. The add-on also comes with tree packs, as you can see, in vegetations. You see there is also a new option called manual mode where you can select different particles. This is something that I wish was available in the Blender. I wish this functionality came inbuilt with Blender itself. That's what I was trying to say. There's also now interactivity. Your characters can interact with the particles themselves, the particle instances, which is something you can't do with the built-in functionality. You only have to able to do it with this scatter add-on. Yeah, so that's it. If you are in market for any of these, they are available in the chat. So let's get into a city, into creating a low poly city using the asset pack we have been making. So this music. Okay, yeah, so let's look at some low poly. Have a good stream. You are cool. I'm watching you from Russia. Nightbot, remove that. I'm watching you from Russia, and I'm writing to you via Google Translator. How long have you been studying Blender? Do you earn money from it? Yeah, I do make some money from it, but yeah, I do make some money from it. Yeah, so how's Russia? How's everything there? And Happy New Year. Yeah. Yeah, Nightbot doesn't really like posting in caps for some reason. Anyway, so let's look for some low poly city art. Let me also go to Sketchfab. Sketchfab. I don't understand English. I could have answered with words, though, an interpreter. Okay, let me just type this for you. Maybe you can use. Thanks for the support. And Happy New. Yeah, that's for you in case you don't understand. So let me look for low poly city, just to look at some reference images of what we can do. We definitely going to need some buildings some roads, and yeah. So let's create a new project. Now, before we even do that, let me open a new project here. Again, we're trying to make a lowpoly city, and since we have the buildings, let me start a new project here. Add-on, bring the quick. Let me do edit preferences. I need the quick functions add-on. Quick functions add-on, which I want my add-ons. Quick functions. Why is this not coming up? I'm still setting up a few things here before we can get started. Preferences, the asset library. Anyway, okay. I want to bring up the shortcuts. Where have my add-ons gone? Anyway, let's just do it without showing them. Happy New Year. Thank you. Happy New Year too. I work at a school and show your videos to kids using a Blender. They are very proud of you, and that's sweet. That's great to hear. So what age are those other kids, and like what classes are you teaching? And so yeah, let's make a lowpoly city. First, I think we need to figure out how we're going to animate the car. So let me grab this, paste it in here. So what I'm going to do is create a predefined path for the car to move around in, and so let's add a Bezier curve like this. Make a few extrusions. Let me change this to vector. Let's first start with a simple loop like this. So we want this car to move around this loop. Hello, Burning Bright. How are you doing? How was your new year? If I guess you asked me which classes the students are from. From 5 to 11. You mean like from 5 to 11 years? That's nice. And they're learning Blender. Wow, that's impressive. Deepak Gal, how are you? Can please model tutorial on modeling building? Yeah, I think we're going to do some buildings in this one. So yeah, stick around. Yeah, so let's first. I don't think I'm going to animate the wheels for this. We'll see. So what I want to do is have this car animated around the path. So if we go to constraints, select the object and go to constraints, there is follow path constraint. And if I select the path, hit play, animate path, you can see the car follows the path. And I think I need to turn on follow path to have the car. Now the issue is how the car rotates. Doesn't look very convincing. So let me first fix that. I think I need to move this. Let me first get rid of the constraint. Grab this. Let me move the car right there and see. And I also bring this here. Turn on the constraint again. It seems like the car is drifting. I guess that's because that our angles are very sharp. If we make them a bit rounded, but I think we can get away with just having them like that. Let me first see if I change the pivot point to be at the front wheels, how that would look. Now I think the pivot point, your car behaves as me after the new. Oh, you mean you are like a bit, you drank too much? Is that what you mean? Because the car drives like it's a bit drunk, like someone is wasted. Yeah, I think right now it looks like that because of the sharp corners. We have set the origin to the back of the car. Yeah, I've set it to the center of the back wheels, like that. So if I play, the rotation is, but our road is not going to be this sharp. So we're going to create a road like this. Actually, let's do that. I'm going to create a new material. Let me first slide this, turn this to a shader editor. Let's create a new material. I'll use because this is going to be our road, and we're going to use a noise texture, noise texture, and I'll add a mix RGB node here. This will go into the factor. Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year to you too as well. Make sure this is and increase the scale of the noise, just like that. I can also use this as the roughness here. Now let me save this as lowpoly city. Lowpoly city traffic. Okay, so that's our road. Now let's add some lines. I'm going to just shift D. Now this one is going to have a white material. I think set the origin to the left back wheel or the left side center. Well, then I think it will turn a bit awkwardly if it's turning the opposite direction, but I'm going to test that and see. So let's just have this is going to be our road, and these are going to be our road markings. And I want the road to be module. Let me select this, select this, select this. So that's our road, and can have the origin out there. Big respect to your skills, man. Thank you. The 578 unit. Hello, Kuma333. How are you? This guy's skills are amazing. I'm shocked with you. You are very smart. Thank you. Anav Asafis. Also, what are your specs for your PC? Just use exclamation mark specs. Let me do that for you, and I should see my specs. So, For this, let's try using an array. Add an array to this. Add an array in the Y direction like that. And also just use a curve object in the... I guess I just have to rotate this. Now, we can use an array, but you can already see how this can be problematic in some areas. You see how it just requires us to use a lot of resolution where I don't want to do that, when I don't want to do that. So, and I think our roads need to be a bit bigger, or our car needs to be a bit smaller. So instead of using the curve editor or the curve, what I'm going to do when I want to make something like this, to make a corner like this, I'll just use a different array. So let me, because we are making this in a modular fashion, we can easily do things. Let me rotate this 90. Actually, I can even add another array. So this is like the main road, the main street. And this here just connects to it. And hello here, Part Music, how are you? So we want to have several cars. Let me see, how do you do it? Let me first, I think let's try this a different way. So let me first get rid of this. Also remove the constraint. Let's first animate city traffic here, cars in traffic, and then we can start adding in other things. So just bring this here, and I want a few cars. So I'll create a plane like this, and I'll come to the original project here. So let me get this, and this car, all these small cars. Problem, this one doesn't have a person in it. The bike is going to be, we're going to need to do something with that. And the tractor, we can also copy, Ctrl C like that, and I'll paste it in this project. Use a curve modifier for the road and increase the subdivisions. Yeah, I wanted to do that way, but I'm thinking that can cause a few issues in the future. So I'm going to do it a bit differently. So first, I want this to be a single object. So I'll just join this to this. Why is this mirror turned? I need to apply all the modifiers and join this to that. Make sure that each of these is a single object. And let me also apply visuals to geometry. I'll do the same with this. Apply the mirror. And the tractor, I think we can also just join it into a single object. So I'll apply visuals to geometry and just join it to a single object like that. And that's our tractor. Now, what I'm not going to worry about is the wheels animating, because that's a bit harder to do if I do it the way I'm doing it. This is more like cheating. So we have a road and we have a plane like this. I'm going to add in a few subdivisions. Actually, I just need like that. I can turn this into a wireframe. So display visuals wire like that, and increase its length. Yeah, I know what you mean, but I don't think it's going to work here. So I'm going to grab these. Let me apply the rotation of these, apply the scale. I move them to a car collection like that. And we're going to use a particle system for this. Should we use a particle system or geometry nodes? I think particle system would be better. So let's go to the particle system here. And basically what we want is to instance, to have one hair per vertex. So instead of emitting from face, let's emit from vertex like that. So we have one single vertex per hair. And we have about, I don't know, 18, I don't know, 19, 20. And we don't want a random order. Like that. And from that, you can model the round. You can model the round turn of the rod separately. Yeah, that's what I was planning to do, because it's much easier than just doing it using a curve. So then under render, we want to use collection and select the car collection. Let me make sure that this is not is set to textured. And under the particles, apply the scale. The scale should be 1 and 1 as well. So you can see we have a car per vertex. Now we just need to make sure that the rotation is the right rotation. Yeah, so, and the great thing about this is that if I scale this on the x-axis, I can bring the cars closer. Now let me go to the instancing and just switch off the viewport. So you can see one issue we're having is that because some vehicles are longer than the others, you will see that some areas they're intersecting. A quick fix for that is because I know that each car is instanced at the vertex, I can move this forward, and you can see, and actually move these forward, and I can change the position of the car. You can see now they are not as intersecting, so this is also intersecting, so I'll move it like that. So, and we don't want them to be to be spaced evenly. We want some randomness, so that's why. So it's also a good thing to just move them a bit like that, and we have some traffic. And I think we can even animate this. So let me just make sure that now one issue we are having is that Happy New Year, Depeche Katik. Thank you. You can. So one issue we are having is that they all have different positions. So I need to make sure that all their pivot points are at the same level. So let me do that quickly. Need to make sure that all their pivot points are at the same level. So I'll grab this, bring it up, bring this. Just make sure the pivot point is at the center. Guys, am I the only one who has rock file has 20. Yeah, you can decimate the rock so it's not that dense. Okay, so this is our road. Now we can also animate. To animate this, it can be very simple. You just have to animate this moving forward. But like traffic, it's not always just. Let me actually just add that animation quickly. So adding some slight animation like that. Change this to vector. But traffic doesn't move evenly like that. So I think what we can do is add in a noise modifier somewhere. So let me add a displacement above the particle system, but I only want this to be in the X direction. And this displacement is going to use a clouds texture. And you can see that's going to randomize the position of each of these particles a bit. So all I have to do is just animate this value. So all I have to do is animate this value, changing. I think I can just use a noise modifier on this. So you can see we're introducing some randomness in the movement. It's a bit too fast, so we can increase the scale and maybe increase the strength a bit. So you see, it just gives that natural traffic motion where cars move and stop at the same time, which I think is a nice. That's really smart. Yeah, I think. Thank you. Yeah, it gives it that. And what else? So, but let me see. What else can we do? Can we just now the issue is some of these are intersecting when we introduce randomness, but you can just increase the distance between each. Now, I think it does look like traffic, rear traffic, but this sky is also still intersecting, so I'm going to move these. And if you want to get rid of any car, you just have to remove the vertex. For example, this remote here is too close, or you can just... the great thing about this, working like this, actually, let me first get rid of the Y location. Yeah, like that. And also the rotation keyframes as well. Because what this will enable me to do is just duplicate this. Okay, let me make sure that I have no keyframes recording. So I can duplicate this setup, give it a rotation. Okay, I'm saying, okay, yeah. I can parent this to the rod, Control P, duplicate everything, and rotate just the rod, and that should give me the rotation, and the movement will be there. The issue now is these are not getting the right rotation. So all I have to do is go to the particle setting and choose a different rotation. Let's try object Yeah. The cars sometimes move left to right. Yeah, they do. So to do that, all you need is a second. A second. Just duplicate the displacement, Shift D, and change the direction to Y, and animate the strength as well, like that. And like I said, the amazing part of this is that this setup is you can go, if you, because you see we have duplicated these cars, but they look very similar or identical. What you can do is duplicate the system, the particle system, and change the seed, which doesn't seem to change anything as I expected. So let's see, what do we change here? Yeah, just change the number of particles, and that should change the cars. Or you can even just add more subdivisions, edit this mesh, add more subdivisions. That should also randomize the cars a bit. And again, if you see cars intersecting, just remove the vertex or move it around so that the car there doesn't intersect a lot. So for example here, these vertices are too close, so I can just move them quite ahead, separate them like that, and we have a city. Now, since we have a road like this, actually we can make a lot of copies here. So Shift D, and I rotate this, and this should use object X. Maybe this road is seems I need to click that again. So this is going to be our main road, and I want this to be like another intersection. How should I do this? Grab this, bring it. Yeah, it looks like traffic. We have some traffic going on. Good work. I've never watched you live before. This is my first time. Thank you, Abdul Rashid. Thank you. Let's make some low poly buildings that we can use here. Okay, so let's get some low poly city. Look at some buildings. I think I have some buildings in my asset library, which I was editing, and so it might have a few bugs. So asset has a few bugs because I was working on it. So let me fix those, and so that I can use it here. Let me see, what bug does it have? Look at give me a moment, just have to fix a few things here. Always good stuff. Thank you. Need to fix a few bugs. Let me see, enable line it. Buttons. Let me look for this. What am I looking at? 500 507. This here shouldn't be there. Let me see. I think I can get back to that later. Anyway, let me see. What can I do? Let's add a few building blocks. That shouldn't be too difficult. We can use a particle system at the same time. You can add a traffic. You can use red light and turn off the movement and animate the other so the traffic doesn't collide. You mean like we need? Okay, let's do a spot as traffic light here. I'm just going to start with a plane like this, round off the corners here. I think I can convert this to a curve and give this geometry a bevel like this, and we can have traffic lights hanging on there. So for the traffic lights, let me look for some references. So for traffic lights, we can have something like this. Okay. We can have something like this. Let me see. How do I do this? I will just have a cube. We want to keep this very simple, so I'm going to add a loop in here and a loop in here. Just select this edge, Ctrl Shift B to bevel it, and then turn it to a circle like that. Insert, push it out, round it off, bevel it like that, and then select this ring, Shift D, extrude like that, and use the shear tool like that. Cube insert, and there you go. Yeah, I think we have now at least a simple basic street light or traffic light. If you want, you can even be more detailed with it, setting these so we have some nice detail to add to that. And we need 3 of these, so let's have 3 of those like that. And I think you can duplicate them like that. Create a new material and just split this again. Digital traffic light, please. A digital traffic light. What do you mean? Okay, then we can have another material. So you can have this as red. So give this an emission. Red. Horizontal? They should be horizontal? Okay. This should be yellow. And then this should be green. Let me turn on bloom. Now the colors are still intersecting. So let's see how we are going to animate this. So first things first. We need a way to, let's create some, are they called drivers? Let me add an empty here, cube here, and also add a text object. Let me see. How do you do this? How do we do this? In geometry nodes, there is an option to get the current frame, which would be very, very useful here. So let me see. If I change, let's see, if I go to geometry nodes, let's see if we can use geometry nodes here. There is, let me see, is there time? What about frame? Not that. Let me see. Under utilities, we have, let me see. Input. Let me just Google this and see. It should be, let me see here. Oh, use, I see. So we just need an input value and input value, and use hash frame, and that should give us that. And I think so. Let's see how we can use this to our advantage. So if we get the, so at frame 150, we want this stoplight to go from red to blue. We want it to go from green to red. Let's see if we can do that. So if I start with this, go for, what am I doing? Shader geometry nodes. If I bring Shift A input value, use the frame option, and compare it, Shift A compare. If the current frame is equal to 150, set there is a set material option. A set material option to a different material, so we can just use black. Let me grab the geometry here. Can I select can I bring vertex groups here? Add vertex group. Okay, it doesn't really work here. Turn off all lights on time. Let me just let me see. You know what? That's way experimental to do right now in a stream. Let's just do it manually. Maybe using like drivers or something. So we can come to the color here, add a driver, show drivers. Let me see what kind of drivers I have. RGB. You can tie the color here, but I'm thinking maybe we just animate it, because figuring out drivers can also be sometimes. So, but if you're trying to use drivers, you can select an object like this empty and set the distance. Let me see. Or you can get a distance option. So you can see when I move this around, you can see, I don't know if it comes through, but the light becomes really bright when I move this around. So so the farther I move it away, the brighter it becomes. So I can do something like the value times 2. You can see when I move it away, it becomes very bright. When I move it back, it becomes like red. And so if I move this to the center, you see, to the position of that, it becomes basically off. And when I move it away, it turns on. I like that. So we can use this as a switch on and off. So actually, let me just do the value here. So when I move it this, so here is off, here is on, off, on, off, on. I like that. And we can basically do the same thing for all the others. So that's one way to do it. So you duplicate this, set a driver, the same driver for this. You can use this. Am I setting the right driver here? Now this is, I would need, this is this, a driver for the red, sorry, for the yellow, and then for the green. Set them like that, and then I just animate this value to turn the light on and off, but that requires a lot of work. So we can just do this. We can simply just animate this. So But it would be much fun if we could just control this directly with some kind of driver. But setting that up is a nightmare. Yeah, another thing that that I think is great about this system is, so if say you want to add if you wanted this to be bumpy, the road to be a bit bumpy, maybe it's not. If we added a displacement modifier to this using a cloud system, that's too much bump. Say the road was bumpy like that, and you want the cars to feel bumpy as well. All you have to do is add a shrink wrap modifier to this, a shrink wrap modifier, and just select the surface and make sure that the shrink wrap is above the surface, and then you can see the cars will also have that bumpy effect. It's not perfect, but yeah, that's one way to do that. Okay, I think I bought a bit more than I could chew. This trying to create a city like this is a tremendous amount of work. So let's do something much fun. Go to ArtStation and just look. Let's go to Pinterest this time. And just so I don't show off anything that shouldn't be showing, let me check. Hey, thank you for the subscribing. That's, what was that? Thank you, Nikolai, Bliss Sky, for subscribing. Really appreciate that. Let's do some. Bro, I'm a beginner. Can you please make a small video on rendering image? I'm getting pixels when I do render. I would to render an image, just hit. You just go to render, and I should be able to render directly like that. If you're seeing pixels, try to increase the render resolution here, but the default is usually enough resolution. So it could be that you have very few samples. So try playing with your samples and see. Let's look at what we can do here really quickly. I don't know why today I feel a bit off, uninspired, and I don't know. Let me see what we can get here. Let me look for epic art. Why not make the fog bridge or cave image that I sent you, or maybe some other. Let me see if that's doable. This code. Yeah, can you send me a message, Burning Bright, so that I can find it? I'm not very familiar with Discord here. When I try to find messages, I get lost quite easily. Let me see. Okay, thank you. So which one do you are you talking of? This piece looks doable. Hi there to channel 111. Always great to see your channel, to see you and hear you at work, and you work very hard. Good sir. Thank you, Fleet World UK. Thank you, and Happy New Year. Which cave do you mean? Which this this is difficult if that's what you mean. Let's see. Well, these require a lot of time, man. Or the bridge. I think this one can be doable. Let me see. Thank you, man. Thank you. Let's see if we can do this one here. Okay, set up the camera like this. Just set up the aspect ratio, rotate the camera a bit. I think we can use Eevee for this. It's going to be much faster. And fuck. Just going to go into the scout mode. Yeah, my asset library is a bit broken right now, so I can't access some of my assets, which would have speed up the workflow, but let's see. Just going to add some details here. Let me change this to 6. Just quickly make an uneven surface here. Okay, I think that would be enough. Like that, and get rid of this. Set up a new material, image texture. Let me grab a rock surface. I'm not going to be bothered too much with this the texturing because it's going to be a bit foggy, so that should help a bit. So that's our surface. We need a character. We can get one using human, using make human. Now let's create the bridge. Can start with a plane. Now we can actually detail it from this angle here. I'm just going to make sure that this is mirrored and has an array in the Y direction, like that. I think this is invert of the Z depth or missed path or of a render that's why it looks realistic. I don't think it's an invert. That's actually the way the missed path looks. It's always a bit more clear closer to the camera. Let's generate a simple character here. Let's go to clothing. Give him a hat. Let's see. Yeah, that's enough. We just need to rig him. Pose. I want the default or game engine setup, I'll just export him as is. I'll import him as, I think it's DA, that's in models. Yeah, very simple like that. Are there already many poses in Make Human? Ah, okay. Let's have him there, standing like that. And let's add the mist pass. I think if we go to world settings, we can just simply drop in a volumetric shader, a principal volume, and just remove the density and just increase the emission strength. That should give us the fog. Maybe give it a slight tint like that. Let me select my camera and just give it a pass out. Now let's detail this bridge. Yeah, I think now let's add the cables, but before we do that, I think I might also need this. Now we can add these cable wires. I think need to first extend this, and also add a big either sun on this side just to light up parts of this. I think the bridge needs to be a bit wider like that. Hello, Faith King. How are you? Glad to see you. Now, let's add the suspension cables. Those can be done using some curves. And all we need with these, let me see, we can also just use an array. Just replace this, and see, this part here is a bit detailed, so I'm just going to do the same. Just make some kind of note here that goes around this. And I think to make this look more realistic, what we can do is just use a curve like this, just as the profile. So I'm just going to grab 2 or 3 like this, and I use them as the curve profile for this. So I'll get rid of the bevel and just use an object for the profile. We need to use very little geometry here. So have and actually, instead of using this profile here, let's use geometry nodes for this part. So I'll go to geometry nodes, new geometry. I can use this geometry and use a curve to mesh option, and I use a curve primitive circle like this. We actually need 2 circles. Actually, no, we can just grab these here. If I reset the origin, you can just bring in this circle here, use it as the profile, use this as the curve, and now actually we need this. Okay, it's not exactly working out as I expected. Anyway, let's just do it the ordinary way, just using a bevel. I'm not about... let's just go with this. it is okay too. Just make sure that it lines up correctly. Now we can mirror the bridge cables. Actually, no, let's not do that. It makes the bridge look smaller, which is not what I want. Maybe let's make it even bigger like that, and then maybe we can mirror. I'm going to increase the strength of this to something like 0.3. It's okay this way? Okay, good. Also going to grab these, scale it up. Yeah, just so. You know what? We have a ship that we just made. Let's see if this cruise ship would work here. So let me go back to lowpoly transport. Grab this. I'll copy everything. Again, the project files. The cruise ship project is available to my patrons. If you are, you can get it. Let's get rid of all these. Grab everything, apply visuals to geometry, and just join this into one single mesh. The cruise ship there. Is there a way to visualize mist pass before the render? Well, the principal volume emission option is the same as basically the mist pass. You're basically getting the same thing as the mist pass. And just to show you, let me do that here. If you go to render passes mist, render the image, so that's how it looks. If we go to the compositor and just look at the mist pass, you can see it's not that different from what we have already. So the emission is basically what we have here is nearly the same as the mist pass. So I also won't be using the mist pass anyway. So this is great. Thank you, 3D Badu. Let me duplicate this guy. Shift D. My camera is just shut off, but that's okay. Okay. I want this guy to be up on the bridge as well, so maybe somewhere in the shot. Like that. Shift G, selection. I'm also going to have a copy of him on the boat here. Oh. Yeah, I think these have to be a bit longer, and we need one of these big I think columns. Mirrored. Doesn't have to be massively detailed. Just like that. I think, let's see if I now, if we add some plants here, I think then that this is going to be much better. And for the plants, again, my asset library is broken right now because I was fixing some bugs. Anyway, go back to this, create a new material, texture, image texture, go to my resources, plants, or something like this. Yes, have a few of these. Why does the photo look like a game from a PS5? Ah, like what game do you think? See how this. I can add this. The problem is that it's not going to look. Nah, it doesn't look very good. We can also add in some stones. So I'll just create a simple cube like this and subdivide it a few times. Give it the same material as this. No, I don't think I need to do that. Now we can also play with the contrast, or we can add in some elements, more elements from here. Let's see what else we can add. Let me see, what can we add? Let me see how this looks in cycles. For that I might have to remove the principal shader for a bit. Today I don't really feel very inspired. So I'm going to end the stream here. We can do this again tomorrow when I feel more active. Not even sure why I'm tired, but yeah. Anyway, that's it. If you want to get the asset pack and more asset packs I've created, you can just go to my Patreon page and you'll find